Whether it's a murder mystery, a pumpkin patch express, or a trip to the North Pole, the Florida Railroad Museum has something for everyone. Pat Masterson is the president of the museum and joins us on why this museum is so important to Florida and the Bay Area. Good morning. So let's dive into this museum. You brought some really cool things we're going to show here in just a moment, but talk about the museum and what a treasure this is for the Bay Area.
Yeah, our museum's purpose is to preserve Florida railroad history, and we collect things for that. Old railroad cars, steam engines, memorabilia. We're trying to keep these things available for people to see forever.
Florida has a pretty rich history when it comes to the railroad, kind of how it was able to be built here and kind of the families that kind of was a little rivalry at some point as well. I mean, it does have a fun history to look back on.
Yes, you had Henry Plant on this side of the state building railroads, and Mr. Flagler on the other side building the railroad down to Key West. It was very interesting times.
Yeah, so people kind of, if they haven't been yet, kind of set the stage for us a little bit on how the museum works. When the best part of it, you actually take a train to get to the bigger part of the museum, correct?
That's correct. We have a station in Parrish on Route 301, and people can buy the tickets, get on the train. There are some things to see there. They take a train ride 6 miles north to the railroad yard at Willow, where the museum building is. They can get off the train, go through the museum, look at some other things we have there, and after 10 or 20 minutes, get back on the train and finish their ride back to the station at Parrish. The entire round trip is about 90 minutes.
Okay, and we're getting into your busy months ahead because there are a lot of events coming up. Why don't you go ahead and kind of invite people out to some of the things that you have coming up? I mentioned a few of them off the top.
Yeah, right now during the summer we're doing Kids Ride for free, which is kind of nice, but that ends in September. And then we're going to have the Pumpkin Patch train in late October, and the kids get off the train at the field, and there's lots of pumpkins, and they can take as many home as they want and then ride the train back. We're also going to have the North Pole Express starting in early December.
Now let's stop here though. This is extremely popular, this North Pole Express. You guys really don't even put the word out too much about it. This sells out every year.
Yes, we do about 13,000 riders in the month of December. It's 1,000 a night. 2 trains, 500 each, and we do not advertise it. It sells out.
Yeah.
The tickets go on sale September 5th, and you really want to get in there as soon as you can to buy your tickets.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about some of the things that you brought in this morning. This is a couple of the things that you can see actually at the museum. Yes. What are your favorites? Where do you want to start? Or you think
this is a railroad watch. It's similar to a pocket watch, but being a railroad watch, it does not have a cover. There's no cover on that watch. So that a fella...
Why was that? Is that a...
Yeah, because a guy hanging on a train that's got to look at it, he hasn't got 2 hands to fool with his real pocket watch to get the cover open. So there's no cover on a real railroad watch. Plus, you cannot set it from the outside. You have to take the glass off to set it, so they can't change the time by accident by hitting the switch, the knob. Or anything.
The trains need to be on time.
That was very important.
Yeah, I would imagine so. All right, what else did you bring?
This is an antique ticket punch that the conductors have, and it makes little holes in the tickets, and the patterns are different. The patterns are different on every guy's ticket punch, so that the back office people know what conductor punched the tickets just by looking at the patterns. They're different.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
I see some manuals over there. Do you guys look for things if somebody has some things in their homes?
We look on eBay all the time.
Okay.
And if it's affordable, we'll get some things off eBay. People make donations. Old railroad employees, engineers, conductors will donate to the museum. We get a lot of that. It's very good.
Okay. So tell us a little about the manuals there.
Okay, these manuals date from 1951, and these are locomotive operation manuals. We have a 1951 locomotive, that exact same model. So it's kind of important to have the original documentation to go with the original locomotive.
Yeah, I would imagine so. You actually brought this right here. This piece is actually...
This is actually a slice of a rail, a very small, old-time rail. And we have in our museum the bigger rails. As the trains got heavier, we have bigger slices, and you can see that in the museum. These are date nails. They have a date stamped on the top. And these go back to the 20s and the 30s, 1918, for example. Here's one like that. And they were hammered into the railroad ties so that you could tell how old the ties were.
As we wrap up here, what is it about trains? You know, I have a 2.5-year-old little boy that is absolutely fascinated by them. And it seems, you know, generations of all ages, they're fascinating. What is it about trains?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Because I started the same way as a little boy loving trains. I have no idea. The big machines, I imagine.
Well, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Welcome.
Again, a lot going on. Make sure to go to their website because a lot of these events sell out fast.
They do.
So thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. Bye-bye.